Welcome to the Cox3.com post-game show. The Pacific Coast League opener is in the books between Corona Del Mar and the Irvine Vaqueros. The Corona Del Mar Sea Kings getting the 1-0 victory to open league play. Welcome everyone to the Cox3.com post-game show. I am joined by the Professor Paul Westphal and the coach Bill Cunity. I'm Gordon Spencer. What a great opener here in the Pacific Coast League. What a contest between these two really good teams.
Well, we thought that it would be a pitching-dominated league, and if this opener is any indication of how tight it's going to be for playoff positioning, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come down to May before we know who's going to finish anywhere from 1 to 6.
Yeah, and Coach, we saw, hits have been hard to come by for both these teams, and we saw that today.
Well, only 7 hits total in the game, and Larson pitched a 2-hitter for Corona Del Mar. I thought pitching on both sides was exceptional. I thought the defense was good. Irvine just falls into 4th place because teams in this league have only played 1 game, so you're either in 1st or tied for 4th. But I see both of these teams being real challengers for playoff positions going into CIF, and the history and tradition of this league would say that anybody that comes out of this league will do well in the playoffs.
All right, let's go to the highlights of this one. 1 run was all that was needed for Corona Del Mar in the victory. Second inning, great defense as Irvine right fielder Trent Colbert retiring Evan Larson, sliding in foul ground to record the out, and then great defense by Evan Larson of Corona Del Mar, getting the bloop there and the catch. Top of the third, Kevin McCarthy singled, stole second for Corona Del Mar, and freshman shortstop J.T. Schwartz knocks him in with an RBI single to right. McCarthy scores. It is 1-0 Corona Del Mar. Irvine with a chance to tie it in the 5th. Andrew Zhao at second. Nathan Ariano back to Evan Larson. Larson heads up play, gets Zhao at third. It stays 1-0. Evan Larson on the mound, doing it all. 8 strikeouts, and that was the game ender as the Corona Del Mar Sea Kings win it 1-0.
Yeah, Larson was as good as advertised. He opened up the season with a no-hitter against San Juan Hills, had a perfect game through 4, but was dominant throughout. 0 outfield putouts for the Sea Kings today. Besides the 8 strikeouts, he had 11 groundouts. It was just a spectacularly dominant performance by one of the county's best arms.
And Irvine Vaqueros' Greg McKinney equally as good on the mound today.
I thought McKinney was marvelous with his off-speed stuff, keeping the Corona Del Mar hitters off balance. And he's not a guy that needs a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He knows how to pitch. He can hit both sides of the plate. He changes speeds dramatically, and I think that's going to really bode well for Bruckner's team. I think they're going to be tough to beat down the road.
All right, Paul Westphal caught up with the winning team right after this contest.
In the Pacific Coast League opener for both teams, Corona Del Mar beats Irvine 1-0. I am with the star of the game, ace right-hander Evan Larson, and CDM coach John Emmy. Let's start with you, Evan. First, congratulations on an outstanding effort. At what point in the game did you realize you had all of your arsenal working?
I'd say probably 3rd or 4th inning. I was feeling complete control of my 2-seam fastball and started mixing my off-speed pitches and getting them off balance. So I say that was when
all right, well, a dominant performance. We had you with 0 outfield putouts, which really shows that you were overpowering the hitters. I think we had you with 11 groundouts besides your 8 strikeouts. Any particular pitch working better than the other? What did you lean on in the last couple innings?
Last couple innings, I kind of kept the same thing, locate my 2-seam, throwing a couple sliders there, and couldn't take my defense more for making outs for me.
Well, now, it's sort of been this way from the get-go. A no-hitter your first time out against San Juan Hills. What's been the secret so far this year, or the improvement from last year to this year? What has sort of brought that about?
I just feel really confident in my defense, just throwing whatever pitch I want, just knowing they're going to get it behind me. So I say that plays a huge factor in it for sure.
Well, outstanding performance. We were really amazed at how you took care of a very good Vaquero team offensively. Best of luck, not only the rest of this year, but in the rest of your career. You got some big decisions ahead of you as far as the college level, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's turn it over to John Emmy. John, you told me before the game that you thought your team played good defense, and you have a really ace starting pitcher, and you're able to scratch out a run. It kind of went right according to plan today.
Yeah, Evan does a great job he knows he can trust his defense, and, we're just trying to get runs on the board right now. And we know with, the big horse on the mound, if we get a run or 2 on the board, that's usually going to stand up.
No doubt, and we were very impressed. You told me about your sensational freshman J.T. Schwartz, and gosh, he does indeed look like a natural up there. He does not look like a freshman.
No, not in the least, and I always am pretty happy when he's the guy that's up with guys in scoring position because, you know, he's hitting something like 600 with runners in scoring position, so we know we can count on him.
Well, we talked before the game about how I think the PCL is a little more condensed than in years past. I think 1 through 6 is going to be a dogfight. If this is any indication, it looks like the Pacific Coast League is going to be quite a battle for playoff positioning. The Vaqueros played awfully well, too.
Yeah, they've really ramped it up here. The coach is doing a really good job. They had a great approach today, and they're dangerous, definitely.
All right, well, best of luck in what promises to be a really difficult Pacific Coast League season, but it looks like the Sea Kings are up for the challenge. Those are our star of the game, and Coach John Emmy, outstanding performance by the Sea Kings. They win at 1-0 to open up the Pacific Coast League season.
Well, Paul, John Emmy told us before the game they started the season 4-0, and probably one of the best starts that he's been around in his 18 years as head coach. Then they go 4-3, and now they seem to be back on track, perhaps. Well, a nice bounce back after a bitter doubleheader loss to their arch rival Newport Harbor. But this is a team, I think, that is built for a consistent league run and maybe a pretty good success in the playoffs. Anytime you've got a horse like Evan Larson that goes for you every other game, you're in pretty good shape. Yeah, and coach for Irvine, boy, they just need to find a way to get some hits and get some runs. They've been about 21 innings now without a run. Well, I think they will, and I think they're going to mirror the image of their head coach, Ryan Brucker. I think Brucker was a great player here and a great player at San Jose State. I think the important thing is when you see a pitcher like Larson and you only lose 1-0, I think you have to have high hopes for your team because your pitcher, McKinney, did such a great job. So I think the future's bright for both of these teams. Absolutely. Great start for the Pacific Coast League. Once again, the Corona Del Mar Sea Kings beating the Irvine Vaqueros 1-0 to open league season. For the Professor Paul Westphal and the coach Bill Cunity, the entire Cox3 crew, I'm Gordon Spencer. Thanks for watching the Cox3.com postgame show.